What's going on, guys? My name is Hyper, and yes, that was a new intro. It is designed by Qbox Design. You can check out his channel in the description. Really awesome designer, knows how to do a lot of stuff with Photoshop and Cinema 4D and all that sort of good stuff. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed the intro, because that is from now on gonna be my intro. But that, of course, is not the topic of today's video. The topic of today's video is the AR160 assault rifle, which came with the Naval Strike DLC. Now on the PC you could already play with this gun, but for Xbox One and console users like me, it came with the Naval Strike DLC, so it's been fairly new to me, and I'm sure that will be fairly new to a lot of other players as well. Now, in order to actually play with the AR160, you must complete the Spare Time Sniper assignment. This assignment includes that you'll of course need to have the Naval Strike DLC, but you also need 3 assault rifle ribbons and 20 headshots. Now, completing this assignment isn't gonna be the most difficult one to do. Getting 20 headshots, and it doesn't really have to be in one round, and getting 3 assault rifle ribbons isn't gonna be that hard. It shouldn't be that much trouble, and you should unlock the gun fairly quickly. Now, before we get into the statistics of the gun, I first wanted to say that this isn't the best gun there is. Now, don't get me wrong, the AR160 is still a really good gun to use, but it just doesn't excel in one way. For example, the AAK really excels in its fire rates, and the M416 really shines in its accuracy. But the AR160 is just a gun that is overall good to use, but doesn't really excel in anything. So now that we've got all of that out of the way, let's move on to all the statistics of the AR160. The fire types are single fire and fully automatic. The gun is originally made in Italy. The fire rate is 700 RPM. The magazine size is 30 and 31 if you count the one in the chamber. The reload time is 2 and 3.15 seconds when the gun is completely empty. The maximum damage is 25 and drops off to 18. The bullet velocity is 650 meters per second and 340 meters per second if you got a suppressor on the gun. And the drop off starts at 8 meters and the drop off ends at 55 meters. So the first thing you'll notice out of these statistics is the fire rate of 700 rounds per minute. This is pretty low for a fully automatic assault rifle, and compared to other assault rifles, they have usually a fire rate of 800 rounds per minute, so it is pretty low compared to others. Now, based on the fire rate, the AR160 is a gun that you want to be using in medium to long range firefights, because if you're gonna round the corner and you're facing someone with a PDW or some other weapon with a higher fire rate, then you are gonna be losing that gunfight. Now, this is where the recoil of the gun comes into place. The recoil of this gun is really easy to control and is not really that much. The vertical recoil is pretty high, but the horizontal recoil is really low. Now, this makes the gun extremely easy to use in medium to long ranges, since the vertical recoil is much easier to control than the horizontal recoil. Because all you have to do to control the vertical recoil is pull your trigger down or pull down your mouse. Now, horizontal recoil is much harder to control because it could be going to the left, it could be going to the right, and it's much more unpredictable than the vertical recoil. So this gun is easier to use in long to medium ranges because of that low horizontal recoil and the higher vertical recoil. Now, another good thing about this gun is the low first shot recoil. You might be asking yourself, why is the first shot recoil so important? And that is because the guns in Battlefield have a lot of recoil. Now, if you want to take someone out that is further away, then you always need to burst fire. There's no way of you firing your gun at fully automatic and still killing the guy when the guy is over 50 meters away. So every time that you burst fire, you get that first one shot recoil all over again. So therefore, having a low first shot recoil is going to be very handy to control the recoil and to be more accurate and to hit targets that are further away even better. Now let's go on and move to my recommended attachments. As for the sights, I wouldn't really advise you to go with the iron sights, and they're pretty big and there's just this one small space that you can see through, so it makes it really hard to track your target. Now, I prefer this gun with the reflex sight, but it also comes down to personal preference. Also, I wouldn't really advise to go anything with a magnification, since the vertical recoil is pretty high. Now as for the accessories, I really like the gun to use without any accessories. I don't think there's a need of those, and I don't see an accessory that is gonna make this gun better. Now as for the barrel attachments, I will go for the muzzle brake. The muzzle brake reduces the muzzle climb, which is basically the same as vertical recoil. Now the con of the muzzle brake is that it reduces the accuracy, and that is where the stubby grip comes into place. The stubby grip increases that accuracy, so it kinda balances the gun out. So overall I like using the weapon, it just doesn't stand out in anything, but still it's refreshing, it's new, and it's something different to play with. Now as for the long term, I don't think that I'm gonna be playing a lot with this gun, but who knows, you could have a totally different opinion than me, and that's perfectly fine. Just let me know in the comments and I'll be replying to that. But yeah guys, that was the video for today. If you enjoyed it, then please hit like. If you're new around, feel free to subscribe. This was Hyper, and as always, thanks for watching.